So tell us, as an Israelite, what is the protocol for Passover?
Oh, well, the protocol for Passover is found in Exodus 12. And Exodus 12, and it all starts with Exodus 12, 3 through 6. That's when we make sure that our lamb is separated 5 days before Passover. And then with us, what we do is we pick out a lamb, and we separate it 5 days before, and then on the day of Passover, one of the brothers slaughters the lamb, and then we cook the whole lamb for hours on the day of Passover, and then in the evening we eat the Passover. We eat the lamb, bitter herbs, um, you know, wine, unleavened bread, because the next evening starts the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And that's, you guys know I have like so many unleavened bread recipes, and I mean, so many. I love baking, first off, but I love baking unleavened bread. Like every Sabbath, I'm the one that is always baking, different types of unleavened bread. This Sabbath, it was chocolate. Last, Sabbath, it was, I believe, peach cobbler. But I'm always baking, so I love the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But back to Exodus 12. Um, After, while we're eating the Passover, we have to make sure that the lamb is unblemished. So that's the reason why we cook the whole lamb, because the lamb has to be unblemished, a male 1-year-old lamb. And so we also eat the Passover with bitter herbs, and that's found in Exodus chapter 12, 8 through 9. And then once we're done eating, we make sure that, well, first off, the brothers, they're eating the Passover with a staff in their hand. We're all eating pretty quickly, because you remember the story of the Passover. Our ancestors were fleeing Egypt, right? So in that whole realm is the reason why we eat it in that way. And then with Exodus 12 and 10, we make sure that we don't leave any leftovers. So we burn the remainders of the lamb after we eat. And then also before the Passover, before the evening, we make sure that all of the leaven is out of our home. So leaven, it could be, whether it's yeast or, baking soda, things like that. Anything that will cause, things to rise. Our food items, even toothpaste has baking soda. So we make sure all of those items are out of our home, because biblically, that leaven represents sin, right? And so for that week, we don't have any. Leaven in our home, and so we have to just, start to rebuy the leaven after Passover. And so Passover is a really special time, but it's also, a time of reflection, and it's also a time where we really pull together, as a congregation, to make sure that we are, keeping the laws, governing Passover, and just, keeping it righteous, of course. And we do have a lot of fun. And I love, you guys know I love to have fun.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes.
Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
Shalom.
Shalom. You got an interview.
Yeah.
Proud of me. That's not hard. I love it.